All relationships have their ups and downs, but for one College Park couple, falling in love came at a critical time in both their lives.
Yeah, they were just 4 months into their relationship when a diagnosis left everything on the line. The Fox Medical Team's Beth Galvin is here now with their story. Beth?
And Sine and Tom, Ernest and Drae Morgan knew almost immediately that they were a good fit. Both had been in relationships before, but this felt different. This felt like forever. But the Morgans had no idea how quickly their bond would be put to the test.
Like that.
Ernest Morgan says he barely knew his now wife Drae 4 years ago. They'd never even been on a date when he sent her a pretty forward text message.
I said, do you want to be I said, will you be my angel?
And soon the quiet Morehouse College police officer and the outgoing HR manager were inseparable.
I remember praying that I meet someone who I don't have to guess how he feels about me, and I want to know. He was so transparent with me and so loving.
But about 4 months into their relationship,
I was sitting at work one day and my arm started shaking and I couldn't control it.
So they went to Piedmont's emergency department.
That's when I got the news that I had a brain tumor.
The tumor was a glioblastoma, fast-growing, typically cancerous, hard to treat.
That changed our lives right there.
Within days, Ernest was being prepped for brain surgery, and after that, months of radiation and chemotherapy.
I was the information gatherer. I was the remember everything and get to the appointments on time.
She was just there.
Frida Wall, a physician assistant at the Piedmont Brain Tumor Center, has guided Ernest and Drae through this unknown world of brain cancer.
I have seen so many couples fall apart, but more so I've seen couples that come together and have an immediate sense of a bond. They recognize this is a big deal.
Because as the Morgans would soon learn, a brain tumor and the void left behind after surgery changes a person.
There's always, it seems to be, a lot of anger from the patient, and it's not anger like you and I feel. It's a physiological anger that comes from where the brain tumor was.
The tumor also affected Ernest emotionally.
When I think about it and I talk about it, I tear up. And by the way, I cry a lot because of my surgery.
But Drae was convinced the foundation they built in the 4 months before Ernest got sick would get them through the storm ahead.
Some people may think, come on, that's not a lot of time. Trust me, my heart, my soul knew that this was the man for me.
After many lows, a high point. 2 months into treatment, Ernest, now bald and weak from chemo, asked Drae to marry him.
So honestly, when he went to go down on his knee, I thought he was falling. Remember, he's weak. And so I dropped down with him, and in the ring, and I'm screaming.
4 years later, Ernest and Drae are married and still together. Turns out Ernest got the angel he'd been looking for all along. And Ernest is now 4 years out from his diagnosis, and he no longer takes medication, but he does return to Piedmont Hospital for an MRI of his brain every 4 months. And he says right now he feels good. And Drae says she got through all of this by running and by making time for herself to get together with her family and go home and see her friends and her family in Boston, Sine and Tom. So they're hanging in there, and he has lived twice as long as doctors predicted. So he's still doing well.
And that just goes to show how important having a great support system is.
Absolutely, and she could not be more there than she is for him.
For better or worse, even before they were married.
Absolutely.
Love it.
Yeah,
Thank you,
thanks,
Beth.
Beth.